entitled When This Is Conoric.
And I'm Ringru, hello.
And folks, today on Splits Fest, we actually have a user-submitted replay. Super excited to see this. Rang, who's duking it out?
In the left-hand side in blue, we have the Chicken Doo playing as Rindhound with balanced income. And on the right-hand side, we have Otto von Matic playing as Group Viborg with a very flat line of an income.
Well, no, I think the flatline income is because these are so automatic that he is just trying to maintain that transmission doesn't want to get overworked, man. So,
Easy on the manual.
Yes, exactly. But a big thank you to the user who did send this to us. We don't want to reveal that too early on here. I'm sure you guys understand casting curse and all that. If we say who actually gave it to us, they might lose.
Exactly. We can just change predefined events retroactively.
Well, you know what? Every now and again, I kind of wonder if all of our fighting here on these maps was had any kind of influence back then. You know, we call it like whole butterfly effect in reverse. That's how that works, right?
I think so.
Well, of course, we are going to see the Fintown Division up against Tyrannia, like you said. So early on here, we do have a little bit of Chernos and Choki's kind of going to the northern town. We were actually just Chernos being lopped really in every single direction.
Yeah, just throwing in left, right, and center.
And the kind of standard opening, I would say, over here from Chicken Doo, in terms of bringing in those P-Grens, bringing in those light vehicles. But I also see we have a Panther or two, don't we? At least one Panther. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, we got one Panther kind of in the middle here. So maybe we'll see like another middle push, which is usually a very good idea if you got tank advantage. But yeah, I mean, Otto is pushing pretty heavy up north with the Cherno spam and KV1s, getting some T-34s down south. I'm guessing the southern side is going to be pretty quiet, as usually neither side likes pushing heavy at Ray.
That's possible. I do see a couple T-34 76s, the 43 variant over here is getting brought on in. Ooh, actually up to the north, KV1 is asserting itself by taking out a couple of those lighter vehicles. Dueling now the P3L. These guys don't really get enough credit sometimes. Those P3Ls are extremely deadly.
Yeah, the APCR cells definitely give them a little bit more packing of a punch and you usually think of, but for 40 points, they're not that bad. Yeah, so you could argue it's not as good as the T-34 76, whatnot, but they're pretty good.
Actually, I do like a couple of things going on here. We actually see a couple of flamethrower tanks being brought on in early on by Automatic. These guys barely ever see any play because they have a paper for armor, but always amusing to see those lesser utilized vehicles here.
Yeah, I believe the early version of those tanks, they use them like, what's it called, remote controlled, they're called tally tanks. Use them to assault fortified positions from a safe distance. Yeah, it was a thing that Soviets experimented on in the late 30s, I believe. Kind of like how the Germans did the whole Goliath thing, the Soviets just did it with a T-26 tank instead.
Well, and then they tried doing it with dogs, too, which was an abominable experiment in my mind, but apparently they weren't quite the same kind of level of animal rights as we have today.
It was poor dogs.
Oh, you know what? At least on the plus side, the dogs got their revenge by taking the Soviet tanks instead. But one P3L does go down, that KV1 definitely making its presence felt. Other one kind of withdrawing and a little bit of disorder to the south. And not for nothing, the heavier tanks, I would argue, of Tyrannia are definitely asserting themselves in the early moments of this match.
Yeah, his KV1s are proving quite well against the Panzer IIIs and other light vehicles that Rindhound really has to play with. I do like how Chicken Doo is using that Mortar half-track to good effect. Always gotta love the use of Mortar half-tracks. And Chicken Doo is definitely focusing a lot on tanks, getting another Panther up north. I feel like he's just amassing a force up north and then down south, and then he's gonna do, like, you know, one big tank push, which is a pretty good idea on such an open map like this.
I am slightly concerned though, because those ZIS-2s, and for the life of me, by the way, I do not recall the difference between the ZIS-2 and the ZIS-3. I think it's just maybe a slight up on the caliber.
It's funny. The ZIS-2 has a 57mm gun, and it's like high penetration. The ZIS-3 is 76mm, lower penetration but better high explosive and use of indirect fire.
So I wonder if the ZIS-2 then was a Lend-Lease kind of piece here, or if that was...
It's pretty funny. The short story is that the Soviets had Zis-2 in 41, and they had them in frontline service, but they didn't really need them so much in 41 because their guns, the 45 mils, were more than enough to deal with the Panzer IIs and regularly armoured Panzer IIIs and IVs of the time. So they pulled them out of service, and then after the heavier tanks started coming in, like, oh shit, we kind of need this gun again, and they started to put it back into service. I just run it as this 3 instead of a lower velocity, more useful high explosive. That's just a very basic.
No, but you know what? Honestly, that's definitely worth hearing. We are going to see our first airplanes coming on in. We see Junkers going after that Zis-2 on that central hill. There are, by the way, 120 millimeter stovepipes looking from the Soviet side towards that Möbelwagen on the opposite ridge. Worth noting, those poor mortar half-track did go down. I'm going to follow the same way here. Yes, he does.
There's a little bit in the open, but yeah, lovely use of the Stukia. And he's got a second one still with a full bomb load, so maybe he'll find a worthwhile target. 120 mils. Yes. Really good call. We really hardly see 120 mil mortars being used anymore ever since they've been nerfed, like quite a while ago. But they're still pretty good. I mean, it is.
If they don't get dumped on.
Yeah, which they do, but not only 2 casualties. Not bad.
I am also mildly amused by the fact that we have these T-34-76s in this forest, and there's not really much of a line against them at the moment. They're actually missing their opportunity as these P3Ls come up. But hey, that's what happens when you don't have any kind of recon.
Yeah. Well, Steve 34's in a good defensive position at least, just to hold the line. Like I said, I think neither side is super concerned with a push down south. I mean, especially for Chicken Do, because he's got those 2 like southern flags, like on the 50-50 line, which is all you really need.
That certainly seems to be the case. Now, up north, though, we are seeing the P3Ls running kind of a meat shield for that Panther A. And I love actually seeing that P3, P4 Fuhrer in a Panther.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of slowly aggressive, maybe try to screen away that KV. But they're going to find themselves starting getting engaged by everything here. Track's broken on 1 KV, but yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, Panthers. I mean, we got a Panzer 3, a Panzer 4, and a Panzer 5 all lined up.
True. I'm actually kind of curious to see the 57 mils actually. If the 57 mil gets forward, that could be a turkey shoot though for him.
Hopefully, Zis-2 is smart and decides to shoot the Panther first.
Yeah, I always worry about the target acquisition stuff whenever you give it a manual aim point, but that's just me.
No, I know, I understand. It's sometimes AI can be a little bit silly in what it decides to blow up.
Meanwhile, down south, T-34-76s pull back a little bit. In the center side, though, we are actually going to see a couple T-34-76s start shelling this poor Flammenwerfer squad going across the open. But here we go. So 57 mil is starting to engage. He's starting to engage the half-track. This is unfortunate. Unless he's getting a manual click in there. Never mind. There we go.
There we go. Going for the Panther.
That's the right call. Unfortunately, he's not going to see the light of day.
Nope. He's going to get 1 shot off at least. 1 more. But not going to be enough. Too much firepower.
Now, looking elsewhere, we are seeing a couple more anti-tank guns being brought on, and we have this weird kind of anti-air net between that 37 mil from the Soviet side as well as the, was it the Dushka? Yeah, the Dushka in the middle. Up north, Strokey DPs, killing a half-track, but to what end, And this German town is starting to bleed a little bit.
Yeah, it's actually pretty surprising. We're almost into B phase here, and the points have barely moved. Otto has got a little bit of an advantage over Chicken Do for a brief, few seconds, but it's still neck on neck, and both sides are really pulling their punches. I mean, both divisions have access to pretty good tanks, pretty good infantry. I would give it more towards Viborg. I mean, this is going to be a pretty, stand-up fight, I think. Oh my god, we got a pretty early off-map artillery, and it's of a rather large variety.
Well, look at it this way, you just don't see guys of that caliber much anymore.
Yeah. And that should I think that should make the town disappear in good haste.
Oh, wait, the KHT is coming forwards, so he's gonna get
Oh!
nailed by something, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think that's the machine gun,
What,
actually.
Is he gonna be in range of the P grunts? No, he kills it.
Oh, wow. He's gonna get killed, Joe.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no!
I mean, it's a Faust.
Get a flame. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised to see like a flamethrower tank actually do something. Holy crap! The off-map artillery just got counter batteried by 120 mils by accident, I think.
I honestly was actually looking at this tank aggression over here on this town, so I completely whiffed that. Ooh, and one takes a shot to the side. That was absolutely brutal from that P4.
I think what happened is Otto was targeting that Pack 40, and the mortars are just so wildly inaccurate, yet they hit the bloody off-map artillery. An off-map charge did go down, it seems. His releases get a little bit of bang for his back, and quite a bang it is.
Yeah, the Strokies, if they're not going to ground real soon, they're going to be driven into it.
Yeah. That's a, real good, happy accident here from Otto, because now he only has to worry about one of those charges, and not another two more.
I'll tell you what he is going to have to worry about, though, is you look up north of a 23W, 234 Mark III, a couple squads of Pioneers, and another Panther. So this armored fist up here to the north is just getting kind of terrifying.
Yeah. It's quite funny how Rintown plays an SD2 compared to SD44. That's like a completely different beast. Because you've got so many Panthers in the SD2 for Ireland. You're just the Panther spam division. And on a map like this, that is perfect. We've got a command Kubel coming in. So he's going to be getting up that chain of command rather shortly.
That's technically a Kubel?
Oh, not Kubel.
That's what SDKF said. I was like,
that's a Hanomag. My bad.
Was totally fun. I was like, I don't think I've ever seen that thing before. maybe you're right. Now I am liking this call. We actually are seeing Otto von Matic bringing in an IS-2. So of course, not a ton of shells on that, but you desperately need something for that anti-tank, and because right now he's getting shellacked.
Yeah, and an IS-2 at long range against the Panther, I usually give it to the IS-2.
But will numbers have their own quality in this case?
Yes.
That's the question.
I mean, if last time we've seen this sort of battle, it was an IS-2 fighting a Panther run out of time. So, hopefully, if Chicken Doo knows what to do, maybe he'll, fight, turret at a time, 3 at a time, get some artillery on the IS-2, because you don't get a lot of them with Viborg, if I recall. So, everyone you knock out is worthwhile.
Certainly true. I'm going to be watching this duel here for a little bit of time.
Help! Don't know why there's a beacon there.
Well, Gondor calls for aid, that's why. You can see the beacons are lit. In fact, the health
I can see a little line across the edge of the map here.
Exactly. I mean, actually, that's all the little smoke that you see coming from the towns. Those are the beacons of Amun Wraith? I forget what it is.
Once a 30-minute mark hit, we're just going to see a giant cavalry charge coming from the north. It's going to be a bright light. We're like, Gandalf! You're finally here! But which side is he charging for? Who knows?
The second Blinde comes in from the east side of the map.
Mad.
A line of honeys. But actually, I completely missed this. We have the Strokey DPs.
Yeah.
Get in there. Wow. How the heck did they get through that?
Smoke, man. Good use of smoke. I love that use of smoke play here. And those Strokeys are sneaking up through the forest.
No, I don't think they're going to get anything done other than maybe taking out this P-Grunt squad. But that is still really, really nifty. I was not expecting that kind of assault. Shooter knocked out the Panther. What the heck's engaging the Panther? Oh, that's really...
T-34.
In the meantime, worth noting, the IS-2 has taken out one of the pursuers. Still got the P-34 leader, and he's starting to assert himself on those Pioneers outside that town.
That's a sneaky spot. He barely has a line of sight on the supply road into the town, so he can really make it a bit of a hell to get inside said town.
Yeah, and as at this time, I don't think there's going to be enough troops on the way to just kind of hold that. In fact, these Automachikis coming on in, and these guys, of course, are devastating in close order.
Yep.
They do have to take out that one last... Yep, okay. I do not relish the attack coming back the other way from these Pioneers. Even these half-tracks coming in, I don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah, the Otto's infantry is definitely rounding in. And there's also strokey DPs there with some rather fit and anti-tank rifles, which would
Yes.
love to meet Yotano mags.
Yes, I mean, it's wonderful to see the kind of sociality these guys have overall. By the way, to the north, the stroke DP push is down.
Yeah.
Um, PTRDs can see the half tracks, and they're starting to engage them as we speak. I can see a couple of kills pretty quickly. Down south, checking back in down there for a moment. Not a whole lot. It continues to kind of slumber a bit. The sleeping giant does not want to awake.
Mm-hmm.
Can't say that I blame him. And you know what? Actually, I really like Chicken Dew's, let's say, pulling back of that P3 and that Panther. I mean, usually, and I'm the first to be a victim to this, I keep my troops on the front line until they die or
Yes.
they kill what they're aiming at.
Same here, I'm not gonna lie. But that's a good call. Maybe if you bring in some extra armor, you know, bank it all up. Or bring in a Panzerwaffe and a Hummel. That works too.
I was just some recon, but that's true also. So the Hummel, you know, we know this guy right here. He's not very good with music. He's not really a guy for karaoke. He just humbles along. And the Panzerwerfer, what do you think? Are we going to see an immediate call-in of that strike on the infantry, the center flag?
I'm guessing. That's what he's gonna try and do. I'm actually really curious to see the Hummel. It's something we rarely see anymore. It's still a pretty decent powerhouse of an artillery piece. It's just very expensive.
Yes, it is. Now, we are at this Pack 40 75 mil is engaging at IS-2. That the IS-2 still has a couple... Yeah, he still has a fair share of shells.
Yep.
But you got to be careful. Thankfully for him, the Pack 40 is out of the APCR shells.
The best he can do is maybe get a critical hit. It's a 2-star Pack 40, so he ain't messing about.
Yeah, but you know what? If, no, you know what? I can't make that comment. This is still a family-friendly video, more or less. Churchills are coming in, as well as another T-34-76. Not really sure if that's the best option. Yep, here's the Panzerwerfer shelling the western side of the town. We have a column of Pioneers being brought on in just now from the western edge of the map. Regrettably, I think if these strokey DPs move to the west, they can set up another defensive line pretty easily.
Yeah, and we got more strokies being brought in. I think it's going to be a real crap shot for Chicken Dude to take out town, especially right now. You still don't get a lot of infantry with Rindhound. Really just like... Panzergrenadier is good, but you don't get a lot of good quality infantry, is what I'm trying to say, so...
That's true.
It's just... It gets a little bit tough.
Worth noting down south, the stalemate or the unofficial truce is off. Christmas has come and gone. We still do have... What the heck are those P3s? There were P3Ls there. There's no smoke. There's no... Unless that's... No, it's not.
Oh, they're dead.
Oh, they're...
Just,
wow,
south of the Chernos.
Oh, I guess what probably happened between the Combrati has fired one shot, and the Zis-2 has fired most of his APCR shells. Okay, so there we go.
Yeah, that's a real good sneaky push there from Mortar, actually pushing on the southern side, getting that flag under his control, and it's a pretty easy area to hold for him now. I mean, he's got bloody Zis-2 and an IS-2 looking down the road. Nothing's coming down there.
And if nothing else, you're really diluting the strength of the troops as they're coming through, so that's really well done. Now, I'm curious. Those Pioneers, they're all being given orders to move in. But to make any kind of drive forward is going to be just hell.
Yeah.
And that's why. Duca comes in, it's not going to be enough, though. It's not going to be enough. Not by a long shot.
Got Hurricane trying to intercept, but as we know, slow plane is really hard to intercept. But Hurricane is also rather slow, so maybe we'll have a good shot.
Not with an intercept vector like that, though.
Nope. Any day now. Oh no, he might. He's got 420 mils. Yeah, there we go.
Oh yeah, no, honestly, if you can get beyond with the Hispano, like, autocannons, yeah, they could definitely do something. But, jeez, it takes forever in a day. And that push moving into the town is completely gone. And the Panther goes down as well from the IS-2. So that's a big loss right there.
The IS-2's been a real champ. He's just been holding down that entire line pretty much by himself. Being forced to push back now due to a little bit of overwhelming firepower. But he's done his job.
I would like autocannon, plane here. Ooh, weapons jam, never mind. I'll say strafe a ground target or two, but Mobovagan convinces him to not stay.
Mm-hmm. Rather convincing argument with that cannon. I'd be
Yeah,
convinced.
and that's the thing, isn't it? He's got a much louder mouth than that plane does right now.
Yeah.
The 120 mils are still in play. Ooh, I'm seeing an Su-76 shelling the north.
Oh wow, yeah.
A couple of them, in fact. Well, and the IS-2 play is strong with this one. We are into Phase C. In fact, 30 seconds in, and I think Otto von Matic just said, you know what, I'm going to wait till Phase C. If I can wait that long, I can take this fight. Good lord, I mean, was it 3 or 4 coming to the front right now?
That's a lot of IS-2s. I forgot this is the IS-2, not Super Spam Division, but they got a healthy number. And also they got Churchill Mark IVs, which is a rather unique tank.
Explain why, sir.
It's slow as hell.
That is very true. I just thought there was a rather...
No, it's just really slow. Crap. I mean, it's not crap game per se. It's not super amazing either. It's just very slow.
IL-2 with Napalm is going to go and hit the north. These two Pioneer squads are going to find themselves feeling a little bit of warm and fuzzy here, I imagine. Yes.
If Ashley does anything, well, yeah.
Yeah, you killed about a squad's worth.
Yeah. And
yeah, that's successful.
Smith. Holy crap, IL-2 actually gets, like, shot down by an airplane. We need to ring the press.
It's a shitty airplane. It's a Napalm one. It was like self-sealing tanks. We don't believe in those. Actually, now I think about it, I don't know if that is the case or not. But come back the other direction. Let's actually see the ME-109 go down.
Maybe.
There we go.
Yeah, okay.
Jeez.
I4
as the KF said, just kind of chilling. Down south, the forest has gone to the Reds, and luckily for the Sherman tanks right back there, they have nobody to spot for them.
Nope.
As we've seen these other kind of T-34s being snuck in around to the southern side. Ooh, this could be a really nifty flank.
We've also seen a Panzer Rifle and a Mortar half-track, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to shoot down south. I like the call, but he doesn't have any infantry to back him up. Like, he's going to do this fantastic barrage here, and then all he has is 2 tanks, which are blind as the bat to make a push. It's not the best call.
Regrettably, he's not even aiming for the infantry in the forest. He's aiming for the ZIS-2, which I get. I really do.
And the ZIS-2 definitely got it.
Yeah.
IS-2 not so much. He's like, rocket? Oh, must be raining outside.
Well, actually, like seeing it, we have actually a Russian 88 down south as well. Sorry, I guess a Russian 85 if you prefer. But that dual purpose is still extremely deadly.
Yep. Got good line of sight over a large open area.
Yes, indeed. So you were saying before about Windhound with the minimal infantry. What's going on now? Because I don't think I've seen really that much German afoot.
Yeah, it's really not been that many. I mean, really with Windhound, you just kind of take the Panzer Grenadiers unvetted. Just regular non-Panzerfaust one, because then you get the 9, 18, 27 for, like, quantity of them. But, I mean, on this map, it's a good map to be Windhound, because it's not super infantry-focused. But by George, you definitely do need a little bit more than what he has. So he's finally getting some Pioneers down south now, some more Pioneers up north. Actually, very much focusing on just Pioneers overall.
Which is a great thing, but let's not mistake the Pioneers' quality as being able to be a multi-purpose. They are an assault infantry pure and simple. That anti-tank is completely absent.
Yeah, and also the Russian infantry just is like heads on tails better than what anything Chicken Duke can bring out.
Yes.
And right now we got this Stoma Viki Strokey DP push being brought in. That is a scary force of just very fast firepower. I mean, there's not a single boat action rifle between them, unless you count the anti-tank rifle. That's a little bit different.
And even then, though, I think the bolt action rifle might be about as useful. Now, if there is one thing that is going to go well for them in the north, it's the fact that they have these two Panther Gs.
Mm-hmm.
Scary ass vehicles.
Yeah. Maybe not the best position to be in, so close to set infantry. Only AT rifles, but it can still, put a hurt on you. And those Panther Gs are perfect for dealing with the IS-2, so they do have the APCR shells until they get killed by an IS-2 first shot.
Yeah, I was gonna make a note of that. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
on paper, fantastic, but
But it was IS-2's just king of long range, man.
Munitions truck. Okay, no, munitions truck reposition for the Su-76. I saw the mortars getting suppressed like crazy. Ooh. So the Stronkies and the Stromovikis are getting across that road into the next forest, and yes, they're going to get pounded into dust, but they are going to go and still hold up any potential German assault there.
Yeah, that's a really good position to hold on to because it's another protective layer before you get into the town, and it's pretty easy to hold. You just put infantry spread out all over if AT happens, and nothing's going to come through that crossroad.
Oh man, they threw one of their really, really valuable frag HE shells over at them.
Oh no.
I know. Otherwise, though, these tanks are not going to penetrate this Panthers, though, so I'm not entirely sure what he thinks he's doing.
Maybe he'll get lucky, but probably not, as we clearly see. The Panther G demonstrating its high armor penetration value.
Unfortunately for these intrepid Russian defenders, we are going to see these Pigarens and more half-tracks being brought on in, and yes, we actually 3 squads already been forced to surrender. The 4th one going to follow very quickly. And that breakwater that we were expecting is broken.
Yep, and we've got a bunch of Stukas now being brought in. I think he's just kind of... He's got a few of them targeted at a tank, and one of them blind firing into a town block.
This is not going to be wonderful for them. There's going to be a huge amount of spread here in a second.
Yep.
Wow,
Oh,
Churchill
wow.
goes down. That's a shock.
Hey man, I was not expecting that. A Hurricane and Messerschmitt going at it, Battle of Britain style, but on a different front 4 years later.
On the LA7, getting in behind. No, never mind. Too nimble.
Yeah.
Hurricane trying to extend for home. ME-109, maybe going for a deflection shot. Nah, he might get in behind. Oh, never mind.
Gonna play it safe. Don't want to fall into that Russian anti-aircraft net as we saw last time. Stuka goes down now.
After checking out to the south, that Soviet position has broken again. But as I say that, and some officers do go down, these pioneers have to somehow get across this road, which is not going to happen.
No. 2 Churchills on IS-2 is going to prevent that from happening.
The Stromovikis with flamethrowers are coming on through. Panzerwerfer, though, is going to go shell that center town and does take out a munitions vehicle. So, unfortunately, did not get it before the IS-2 got fully resupplied.
This might start to be a turning point for Chicken Do here. The town is pretty clear apart from one very angry Russian tank that's rather heavy, but don't tell him yet. And, down south managing to take out Southern Flag. I mean, Otto is still on good footing, but if now was the time to, put the pedal to the metal, this is the time for Chicken Do.
It is entirely possible. I still wouldn't be super enthusiastic about that.
Oh.
However, we are at that Pack 40 down south is reaping a bloody tally. Already taken out one of the Churchills. Very quickly going to take out the second one here. 3, 2, 1, and...
Boom! Crack, backle, and pop. It was a Churchill.
I do have to ask, is that what actually the elves say for your Rice Krispies up there in Canada?
Yes,
okay.
It's snap, crackle, and pop.
That's what I thought so. I just want to double check to make sure we were still united by a common language. So one way you know, man. What do you see your mascot say?
Yeah. It's like going to a foreign country and seeing a McDonald's. It's like, I know I'm home.
We have allies.
Yeah. Oh, the American Embassy road ride.
Yeah. More than blue jeans, we have fast food.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that big boned IS-2 realizes that maybe he needs to go on a little bit of a diet before he does diet. And backs away from that town. Even as his own Onomachikis go through a northern forest. And it could be very, very competitive, I would say, for the most part, against these Pioneers, but they're already pinned down, so I'm really confused. Oh, 2 squads, that's why. Silly me.
A lot of smoke being dropped in from both sides. I mean, that smoke that Chicken Deer is dropping actually benefited Otto more than anything, allowing him to get the Sturmovikis safely into the town and into some rather sturmy positions.
Well, I love seeing we have 3 IS-2s just mobilizing, going around this town here.
Oh.
This is going to be very bad.
If we go... Right, it's starting to become a big tank battle now.
But that's the kind of beautiful thing, though, when it does happen.
Yeah. I've seen, like, the big tanks go at it for a change. It's usually a lot of the, replays you see a lot of people sticking with the smaller, medium tanks, which is, to be expected. They work really well if you know what you're doing. You get a lot of them, so if you die, you don't care.
The Sturmovikis, in the meantime, they're going to stop this immediate push, forcing some huge amounts of fallback. Oh my god, that was devastating.
Yeah, it's the power of, like, Kimber-in flamethrowers, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, and 2-star veterancy to boot. Holy crap. That's nuts.
Jeez. That was what, 3 or 4 squads came through, and now we have 1 squad and a very freaked out half-track.
Yeah.
But it is back to 12-12, so Chicken Dew is scratching back. I'm a little confused to see what Otto von Matic can do against such reckless hate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Chicken Dew is starting to put on an offensive. I do find it funny how Chicken's managed to hold a middle flag this entire time with just a half-strength Panzer Grenadier squad. He's just been chilling in an open field, probably just having a picnic, as the roar rages around him.
Well, the Chernos are in that swamp. I mean, they took a mortar barrage or 2 early on, but that was kind of like, huh. Okay, so they're mosquitoes. I'm not a big fan of that, but it's kind of nice here.
Yeah, better than being hit by actual mosquitoes.
True. I hadn't even thought about their bit of a bite there. Down south, in the meantime, we're going to have this KHT 130. Is he going to go for it? No, it's probably not a great idea for him. That little Zippo lighter. Yeah, Chermakov, I'd be shaken as well. Not stirred. Falling back, okay.
Yeah.
But more Junkers being brought on in. Looking to go after these 2 IS-2s. I don't know that they're going to get very far.
Oh, I mean, if they do drop the bombs, there's a good chance, but having them so close together means they both take morale damage, so it's good old French. And they're both gonna fall back like good old French. They might both get shot down like good old French, we'll see.
Well, one goes down from ground fire.
Yeah.
Phantom for barrage going after the IS-2s. Not doing much, but because that's to freak them out, I imagine.
Yeah, the other guy's not going to join in the suicide pact. He's going to get out, which is probably a smart move. And more Panzerwerfers. Gotta admit, Chicken Dew's been using those Panzerwerfers quite religiously this match. Using them to counter battery tanks, battery infantry, just battering everything.
I mean, that's what you want to see.
Mm-hmm.
But, Panzerwerfers and airplane verfing bombs in every direction, that is not a victory make.
Oh, he's keeping Otto from taking any more ground with the use of artillery and whatnot, but he's not really getting much ground back, To be fair, I want to say it's pretty even Stevens and, like, who's going to win the long game. I want to give it a little bit more to Chicken Dew because of his income curve, but I think both sides have went pretty heavy for those C-phase cards. So I think at 40 points, it isn't going to matter as much as, Chicken Dew would think it would.
Well, and we have this fight every single time we see a Vintown division. Mm-hmm. I'd love to agree with you. I really would. But Otto right now, he's going to have the numbers here. I mean, the Rocks, yes, for the moment, they're totally behind enemy lines. I completely agree with you there.
Yep.
But an understrength P-Grunt squad and a half-track, that's not going to hold the town.
To be fair, Chicken Dew's like 6 Panthers up north.
Yes,
he has them all
like
true. Spread up in the gun line, ready to go. When is he going to use them, though?
Well, that's certainly a question, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Hopefully it will be answered.
That's certainly a very good hope, I imagine. Looking elsewhere, we still do have this Su-76 that, and down the medium south, like we're dropping smoke in front of those Panthers. We could see some aggression over here. You have to take out this half track, and we are going to see a 13-11 at long last.
Mm-hmm.
And woo, what just a
14.
beautiful shot from long range after that Panther. IS-2s are approaching, and they're starting to pick off their opposite numbers here.
Yeah. Those IS-2s are goddamn scary. Like, they have like really accurate guns. I know especially for me when I see Russian tanks, like, the guns are more inaccurate, which is true, but it's not really that big of a deal. The stuff is pretty accurate in this game, regardless, even when it is a little bit less accurate in high German precision guns, yada yada.
Well, we are actually seeing right now that the real accuracy here is Otto's starting to snowball.
Mm-hmm. Those ISs are just really going in well for him, and he's managing to engage these Panthers in small groups at a time. If all of these 6 Panthers were to engage these 2 IS-2s, I would give it to the Panthers, but because he's just kind of, throwing them away one by one, it's not going to work for Chicken Do. And, just the northern side has completely collapsed, it seems. It's like 8-16.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, mono things are great for first dates or, wild westerns, but you don't do that in any kind of battlefield scenario. You have to go and pile on as much as you can. You have to beat the other guy into the dirt.
Yeah. Like, fighting those IS-2s without, the artillery fire support helping out at that exact moment, or, with the numbers, it's not going to work. Those things beat out your German tanks, and there goes the Moberwagen, and we got the push through the town. Yeah, I think she can do. He's pretty much done for at this point, it seems.
Oof. And every single time you look, it's that moment in the movie when it's like the intrepid defenders get taken out one by one. You start seeing these Panther tanks going down. It's like, ooh, he went down. Ooh, the guy next to him as well. Ugh.
And you can't really be affording to lose that many Panthers. I mean, that's 5 Panthers gone in 2 minutes. 6 Panthers, yeah.
Yeah.
Half a dozen. Baker's. Yeah, half a dozen. Baker's dozen's 13, and we need like another 7.
Baker's half a dozen.
Baker's half a dozen.
6.5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I really, really did love this Panther first. I loved the use of artillery. I thought it was a really, really great job with that. But right now, his artillery is getting counter-batteried very successfully.
Yeah, it was 120 mils doing, and Su-76 doing a real lovely job.
And he looks like they have one last throw of the dice here. I mean, it's 5 minutes left, but I don't know how much really Chicken's got left in the coop. 3 Panther A's. I feel like this is the bulk of what remains of his tank force.
Yeah. And he's on even the G1s. They don't have the APCR shells, which do help out against getting that, not killing IS-2s, but getting that first penetration hit. That might get a good critical to shut them up for a little bit.
Ooh, and that's also unfortunate, too, that JU-87 gets freaked out at the absolute last possible second.
You think he could have just went through with it, but no. No.
No, but he's like the guy who plays like, it's like, you know what? Oh, you found me. We're playing hide and seek.
Yep.
You found me. I'm not going to go and be a pain.
Oh, the Panthers are engaging 3 versus 2. They're moving, yo. You might want to stop the Panthers, Chicken, please. Please stop him.
You don't have your stabilizers. You're not Shermans.
No.
Let's get some.
Maybe spread them out as well. I mean,
it's oddly horrifying to go down. You can't see any of the insignias anymore. You just see these shells come out of nowhere to obliterate one or the other.
damn, those IS-2s are tanking those shots.
Yes, they are. Chicken Do taps out the last bit there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Good game, man. Like 2,500. It didn't feel like it was that much of a difference, but I think that was towards the end where all those Panthers were just kind of going kaput.
Well, we do see that one Garen.
Yeah.
The IS-2 at 1, 2, 4 tanks. 3 of them are Panthers.
I don't think an IS-2 died that match.
Well, we'll check in a second.
Losses.
Ooh, wow. You take a look at that. In the meantime, man of the match, the IS-2 Chuchumachi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kills with another couple of half tracks in there. Yeah, I mean, that's...
In case.
All right, losses like you said. Do I see? I don't see any. You're right. I don't think there's an IS2 among
Yeah,
this.
I think I was like, it really just came down to who had the thickest skin, and I mean, if you meant to pretty much buy out all the IS2s in your division and have them on the field, that's just so much more overwhelming firepower.
Yeah, very, very long game, but very, very one. There's still one having the edge of my seat. I kept waiting for Chicken to like
Yeah,
that last second push that would just like rupture the center or to aggress a little bit more on the southern flank, perhaps.
it felt pretty neck and neck for the majority of the match, which is a good replay because usually, you know, when matches go on for longer than 30 minutes, it's just a slog of nothing really happening. Oh, by the way, his replay was sent in from Otto, so the reason we announce it at the end of the replay is because usually when someone sends in a replay, it's a replay they've run, so don't want to give away spoilers or a hint
Not
of
too quickly, anyway.
the victory. Yeah, we gotta like, let the betters put in their bets.
Exactly, exactly. By the way, did you clean up on tonight? I did.
Pardon?
On the bets, did you beat the spread? I did.
Oh no, I've lost everything. I'm going to mortgage my house again.
Oh dang, dude.
I know. I even saw the replay beforehand. I'm just really bad at betting.
that short-term memory. We really got to work on that.
It was a 50-50 chance. I thought I had a chance.
Folks, with that in mind, though, don't let yourself forget we do have another game coming up on Thursday, as we always do. A real humdinger as well. So, Rank, any final thoughts?
None whatsoever.
Folks, in the meantime, please stay healthy, stay safe, and we will see you on Thursday. I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangaroo. Take it easy.